House's attention to this again to make sure that people really understand that Cameron Brewer really wants to be a North Shore MP rather than a West Auckland MP. Just emphasise that point. I rise, along with my Labour colleagues, in support of this bill that will enable the Takapuna Boating Club to use its building much more effectively.
Takapuna too.
It's a pretty sensible sort of bill. There was an issue, before I just talk about why I think we should support it, I just want to take an issue with something that my our ACT MP talked about, which was about whether it was going to be financially viable in order to for the Takapuna Boating Club to have some commercial operation there. I'm just going to suggest to the ACT MP that is a matter for the Takapuna Boating Club to make their own decisions, and I'm sure they're quite capable of doing that. However, they certainly need this enabling legislation to go ahead, and from then it's up to them what they do with the building. It is actually a beautiful building. Now, I know the Minister brought a photograph down to the House. I've brought this one as well. Mr. Brewer, just so you know, there are actually 3 stories, as one can tell from the photograph. And it's quite a magnificent building. But looking at it carefully, one of the things that you can see from this picture is that the top story has, and actually it's got a deck around it and quite a beautiful veranda. And so I think this building is going to lend itself to some commercial venture like a cafe. There's something quite magical, Mr. Speaker, about sitting on a veranda over the water, having a coffee, passing the time of the day. I think it's an entirely viable proposition. And if I could think of something to compare it to, if we think about here in Wellington, the Maranui Surf Club Cafe in Lyell Bay, it's actually a really cool cafe, and again, partly it's because it's right by the water. So when the Takapuna Boating Club says they have this heritage building, and it's quite a magnificent building, and they would like to find a way for it to be viable, for them to use it, for it to be restored. Now, I note that they say the work has already been done on the foundations and the roof, but they would like to restore this building, and the one thing that is standing in their way is a bit of legislation. Now, it's good legislation, but sometimes, legislation does lead to adverse outcomes, and in this case, it's led to the outcome that the Takapuna Boating Club cannot use this building to its full potential. So one of the reasons for supporting this legislation is to enable the Takapuna Boating Club to get on and use this facility to support their club through doing it, but actually also to restore a pretty valuable building, and I hope in time that will provide a really good facility for the local community. I'm looking forward to today, but hopefully we can head over that way, spend a day at the beach, get a coffee, have a nice meal, all those sorts of things. That actually, it's one of the things that make living in New Zealand special. The access to the water, the access to the relaxation, just the general enjoyment of our wonderful coastline and outdoor environment here. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I commend this bill to the House.
Speaker.
And I'm wondering, is Bean here meant to set up their first business in Auckland?
Man. How many times did she show that picture? She put it up, put it down, put it up, put it down, put it up, like 3 times. It's like, we get it. It's a beautiful building.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's get to it.